Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Sin.
Hi, everyone. And welcome back to one of the most iconic Snack Covenant series. What? Why
Usually
are
I
we
can't take
so
your intro
forward?
seriously, so... And today is episode 26, and we're talking about The Room with the Pots.
Good morning, everyone. What, Where, Why Locations of Bloodborne is normally a Patreon-only series, but we release the good episodes for free. If you would like to see more What, Where, Why, kindly visit patreon.com/SinclairLore. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
When you beat Cleric Beast, there is a door, and it will never open. If you're playing, I think, on version 1.0, it is in fact a door. After that point, they replace the door with a wall with the door drawn on it, just to make sure you can't even accidentally open the door. And the reason that they do this is because the Cleric Beast boss, after you beat it, was going to let you go through that door and into Cathedral Ward. That no longer happens, and that's why it's a dead end. This is something that, it's been pretty heavily documented, so we can say this with essentially certainty. Basically, the problem is that if you went along that bridge and went through the door and went to Cathedral Ward, it wouldn't load fast enough. There were issues with Cathedral Ward, the map, essentially would not load properly. I think it would eventually do it, but if you ran there, you would go through, and Lance has demonstrated this before, you'd go through and there would be no floor.
Mm-hmm.
So you would open the door and you would just fall into a void for eternity until you hit the kill plane and respawn. So they were having real issues making Cathedral Ward load on time. And that's why the door no longer works. But the passageway that connects that door to Cathedral Ward, that's still in the game, obviously. And that's what we're talking about now. So it's this passageway that goes from a drawing of a door to Cathedral Ward. And in order to sort of make it completely not useless, they put a treasure chest with a blood gem in it. Do you want to know about that blood gem?
Yes, please.
You're about maybe a third of the way into the game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start exploring Old Yharnam. You're going to fight Emilia. There's a bunch of stuff you can do here. Maybe go to Yahar'gul. All these things you can do. So putting a treasure chest in this place that, it's guarded by one of the church giants.
Yes.
It's optional, so you expect, maybe it's, it could be, a useful gem that you get.
Yeah.
It's a Tempering Blood Gem 1, and it gives you a damage boost, which is really useful at this point in the game. It gives you a damage boost of 1%, which is less than half of what you get from the gem you got from beating Gascoigne. But it also gives you 1 HP regen, which you will not notice. So it's fucking useless.
Master Miyazaki would not do that for no reason. Please tell me the exact name of that gem.
It's Tempering Blood Gem 1. You realize Tempering Blood Gem 1's a generic name. You're not going to be able to find, that specific gem.
Does it have a description?
Yeah, but it's the same description it's just blood gem that fortifies weapons and adds various properties. Blood gems are especially rare bloodstones that grow in cold blood. Blood gems are kneaded into weapons using workshop tools, but only when of matching shape. And then it'll be this weapon. This is triangular or waning or radial. And some of them are damp, which means they fit in all of them.
Okay. I thought we were onto something, but...
What? What did you think we were onto?
There's a secret description in the gem. Okay, Sophie, read this, but only read the first letter of every word to make a message.
Ludwig killed Maria.
Late at night, I think of you, your vision floods my mind.
Could you please describe the room?
A decently wide sort of space, kind of rectangular area, and it's absolutely full of the incense pots,
Mm-hmm.
and the incense is still coming out of them. They're the same pots that you find in Erden Chapel, same pots you find on the way to Cathedral Ward, Upper Cathedral Ward, same ones you also find in the path to Old Yharnam, but the ones in Old Yharnam are burned out because it's been so long.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all lined up, and then you go through there, and then the path sort of bends in an L shape, and then that would have if the game loaded properly, that would have led to the bridge where the Cleric Beast is. But now it leads to one of the game's many useless plot gems. Early on, people were genuinely curious about what that door did. So I think a lot of people actually did it, but basically someone did it and it got reported by Vardy, and that's sort of like made everyone realize, oh, okay, that's what it is. It's that they stuck shining coins in the door.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and then they stuck shining coins and they just ran without reloading back to the bridge, and you could see the coins through the wall. So it's like, okay, that's how they line up.
Super cool.
Yeah.
You know what though, Sophie? I find the fact that the door does not open after you beat the Cleric Beast really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like it added an effect to the game, especially for people like me who've never played a Soulsborne game before.
Yeah.
Where you do in fact fight the most difficult boss in your life, and it's the scariest boss too, and it has a moveset and screams at you, and a second phase, like what is that? You win, and nothing happens. There's no like parade, there's no
parade.
Yeah, because usually
You're used to games with parades when you beat bosses.
the best part is you're like, all right, but where do I go now?
Yeah. This actually ties into like something that was removed that like I've written about this at Bloodborne Wiki, but I don't know if we talked about it. But basically, like you said, like, where do I go now?
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is you have to go through the Gascoigne route. You go down the sewer, you fight Gascoigne, and that pathway there, that's you going through like the back entrance of Cathedral Ward. It's sort of hard to contextualize the first time you play it about it having a front and a back, because you kind of don't interact with the front because it doesn't exist anymore. But that's you going in like the back entrance of Cathedral Ward.
Yeah.
And that cutscene plays. So, there is an unused cutscene for you going through the front entrance. So basically, it would actually, at some point in development, it was two different paths. Like, you had two ways in. And presumably, like, they both led to different outcomes, because part of the cutscene that plays when you go through doesn't exist anymore. The unused one that would happen when you go through the gate at the front is that the Yharnamites follow you in. So, it's kind of like, it's very much like the end of Frankenstein, where they're all converging with the burning torches on the Healing Church.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know what it would have done. We do know that there's, like, unused Yharnamites in Cathedral Ward, which there aren't anymore. That would have been... So I think the idea is, like, if you went through the front, it would, like, change the enemy layout, so you'd get the Yharnamites have come in after you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, like, fighting the Healing Church, but that ended up not surviving to the finished version.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a very ambitious game.
It's very ambitious, but the things that brought it down were just like enemy AI would just fight itself before you arrived, as far as we can tell.
Okay.
Or just like the floor didn't work.
Okay.
Things like that.
So Todd Howard was secretly working on the game.
Hi, my name is Trisha. I'm a fragrance consultant, and I've been asked to talk about incense health and safety. So this guy comes in from out of town, and he says, I'm out of incense, I need more. And I say to him, what kind of incense? And he says, I don't know, it's the kind the dogs don't like. And right away I know I'm dealing with an amateur. Dogs don't like incense because the smoke triggers allergies, especially lavender. And I say, sir, where are you burning this? And he shows me, and it's literally a corridor with the door closed. And I say, sir, please read the packages. It says on the back, only burn this in a well-ventilated area. You need to open that door. And he looks at me, and he looks kind of awkward. Now, I'm an undiagnosed empath, so I know that something's up. And I say, sir, what is the problem with opening the door? And he says, it's not a real door. We painted a door on a wall. So that was weird. So I say to him, okay, plan B, try a diffuser. And he says, yeah, I can borrow a diffuser from work, because everyone's got one. They're always diffusing rosemary. So I give him some rosemary oil and he heads back home. And the best part is, not only is he safer, dogs love rosemary. So that was my safety advice, and my other safety advice is always make sure that the doors in your house are real.
Clear your mind of everything. We're in Yarnum. We're documentary makers doing a documentary about the Healing Church, and we stumble upon this little random room.
I feel like that whole setup with the documentary is irrelevant. Just say we're in the room.
And we're like, why was
Is
this
your
room
ideal
built?
game Outlast, but it's in Bloodborne? You're running around the Healing Church with, like, a camera. Yeah.
So we're like, why was it built?
You know, there's that big, like, the bridge where the Cloak Beast is, right? And it terminates in, like, an iron set of bars that have come down.
Mm-hmm.
And behind those is another path that, like, goes further in. But you can never access it.
Okay.
So to me, it's like probably that pathway at some point was the way that you actually got in. You can see there's like removed bridges and like, I mean, actually like in universe removed, not they deleted them. There's like bridges that have been destroyed and stuff. So I'm thinking like probably that bridge that Cleric Beast is on would have continued underneath there and kind of gone up to where Cathedral Ward is. Reminds me actually a lot of level 1, 2 in Demon Souls, where like after you beat Phalanx, there's just like the very, very long sort of processional like wall thing. I think it has some official name that I can't remember, that leads to the Boletarian Palace. So like you go through and then there's like this really long winding like pathway, and it's got like that will have little bits off to the side where like garrisons would have been stationed and like people could come and go. So I think what we're using now is probably that. It's like back when that big bridge was the way you got in. Like this was like a side entrance, but now that that bridge is like it's either blocked off or destroyed or something, you have to use that little pathway.
Okay. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you, Sin.
Who utilized it before?
What's pathway? So like no one stayed there; they just went to and from
Okay.
Cathedral Ward. Yeah.
Who utilizes it now?
Technically us, because we go there to get a 1.1% attack boosting blood gem.
So, okay, so in the universe,
In the universe.
again, we're documentary makers.
Yeah.
And we're in that room and we're like, there's a chest here.
Yeah.
We open it and we're like,
But that doesn't
what's
need
this?
us to be documentary makers. That's literally what happens in the game.
But like, as a documentary maker visiting
I
Yarnum,
feel
you're like,
this level of abstraction is kind of pointless. We already asked that question without being documentary makers.
but like, we're like, why is this chest here? Who is this for? Is this a post office?
The post office. The Yarnum post office.
Oh my god, Sophie, what if? Okay, so you know how you have the post office, right?
In Yarnum or real life?
In real life.
Okay.
You go there, you
Yeah.
give them something,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
with the magic of the post office, another person gets it somewhere else. What if this was some sort of a post office thing where you put stuff in the chest,
Okay.
and then the mailman comes and takes it?
No, I think it's the opposite. I think it's like that's the delivery address, right?
Oh, like a P.O. box.
Hey, this is the Healing Church. Deliver things here. If no one's around, just put it in this box and we'll get it later. And they've had a blood
Okay.
gem delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, finally we understand it. It only took 56 minutes. Lawrence ordered something from like eBay or Etsy. He ordered a blood gem.
Yes.
And then when you go to order it, it's like, if you're not home, you have to check a box. Do you want us to return it and hold it at the post office or leave it in a secure place? He's put leave it in a secure place. And there's like there's that box there. It's like, can you put the mail here? Like my neighbors have that. They just have like a plastic tub. It's like if
Yeah,
you're delivering anything,
okay.
put it in the tub. It's that.
Yeah, exactly. It's
yeah.
Lawrence's tub.
Lawrence's.
Okay, Sophie. Now, Let's move on to the final question.
Jesus Christ, I thought we were done.
If the location has no name, make a name for it at the end of the episode.
I think we did. I think it's Lawrence's secure deposit box.
AKA Lawrence's tub.
Don't say Lawrence's tub, it sounds grotesque.
It's what they call it. It's like, you know how Lawrence has like a bunch of research assistants
Oh,
working
it's
for
like
him?
his pigeonhole. No, like when you're in an office with a whole lot of people, everyone's got like a little like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you put it in the pigeonhole. So yeah, someone's
Yeah.
delivered that to Lawrence. He
Yeah.
just never collected it.
Yeah.
It's a really shit gem too, so like maybe if he got it he would have returned it. I've opened a dispute.
They're like, you have to return it to a specific spot so that we can send it back. And he's like, all right, support.
Lawrence
Where's
has a phone in this world. He's like, alright. Is he human Lawrence or beast Lawrence at that point? It's just like a cleric beast with a phone going, alright.
Yeah.
It's like the middle of, hang on.
Exactly, and they're like, he's like, I was thinking the Beast Lawrence, because he's like, all right, where do I have to return it? And they're like, well, dungeons? That's why he goes in the dungeons.
Oh, he's returning something he put on
He's
eBay.
returning something. Yes.
Yeah. And that's the objective story of Bloodborne.